What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode, what is this? 164 of Value Town. I'm ChanManV, and that guy kind of looks like Jackie, but he's not Jackie, because Jackie doesn't have glasses. And then that guy over there definitely doesn't look like Allie. So we've got a whole new cast here today because Allie and Jackie are in Australia for the Invitational. But I want to welcome to the show Gaara from Team Tempest Storm and DrJikininki from... I'm drawing a blank. Your team Space. Oh! I can't hear you. Hold on a second. Okay. Now they can hear you.
All right, you got it. Don't worry. You know what? It's Space Station Gaming.
Space Station Gaming. Gosh, man, I'm just like so bad about that. But welcome to the show, guys. I'm so happy to have you guys on to talk about cards because I was like worried. This is such a busy week with the expansion that I was like, oh my God, am I not going to have anybody to sub this week? So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to reach out to Gaara and Dr. J just to see if you guys would be able to make it. And it's like my first choice is like, of course, showed up. So this is awesome. Perfect. But yeah, how you guys doing? You guys getting ready for the expansion tomorrow?
Yeah, super pumped. Yesterday, I met Mike Moorhead, the developer, and talked to him a little bit.
That's right.
And
that's right. Yeah.
like we were at a Blizzard event, we were like watching together the final cards reveal. So that was quite exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And today I was streaming, making the meta spreadsheet for the upcoming expansion. And I'm like super pumped. Can't wait to get right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited myself too. You know, anytime new cards are coming out, it feels like Christmas Eve. You just kind of get excited. You're like, oh my God, tomorrow. You're sitting up there waiting. You can't sleep. Yeah, no, I'm very excited.
Night before Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the night before Kobolds and Catacombs.
Kobolds and Catacombs. Yeah. Well, we've got like 50, I think it's 56 cards to talk about today. We thought 5 last week was a lot. We've got even more this week. We're going to have to go even faster this week, guys. So forgive us if we don't, dive into the most, lame neutral card that we in the set. But we're going to try to skip over just some of the ones that don't, seem that intriguing. They might still be good. So we might not talk about some good cards that are just straightforward versus like some cards that have a very new type of dynamic and angle. Before that, why don't we talk a little bit about just some news, just a couple things. So, of course, tomorrow is the big release, and it's going to release first in NA here, and then EU the following day. So, I think we're talking about around noon Eastern, somewhere around there. It usually launches around that 11 to 1 period in the Eastern, so I forget the exact time of it. Let me see. Is it actually in this post here? Let me see.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually here either. But yeah, expect that. Expect just obviously all the streams to be going on during that time. We get some insane numbers during the first day of the expansion. It's always a lot of fun. And then there's going to be an invitational event also in Australia that Blizzard is hosting. So a lot of our favorite personalities and streamers will be there doing that, which will be a lot of fun. So, yeah, what's the thing that you're looking forward to most, guys? You going to do dungeon run first, or are you going to do just open packs and let's go with decks?
I am jumping right into deck building. There's so many different decks I want to test, and it's kind of like 20 different decks. So, and it takes a lot of time to actually play them, get a couple games in. So, yeah, it will take a lot of time. So I really want to start playing these new meta decks.
Okay. So how many packs are you going to get off the bat?
Oh, quite a lot actually, because I'm playing on all 3 servers. I think I have to get more cards than anyone else.
Oh my God.
I always
play
pre-order on all servers.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we're talking probably like 1,000 packs or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. Dr. J, how about you, man?
I'm gonna jump straight into deck building. I've
You're
got
such pro players.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have to, man. I'll do a dungeon run for fun, but I have to jump straight into deck building for the reason that I've got to help my teammate Ant out, and he's gonna be at the Invitational, and he does he's probably flying right now, if he's not already there, and he's not gonna have much time to play around with the new cards. So I gotta help him out. And then I'm going to Seat Story Cup, so I've got to figure out decks for that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
We've only got like 4 days for that, so I need to jump straight in and go as much as possible. And I'm going to have like a lot of packs too, but I only play on one server typically. But I like golden cards, so I'm easily getting like 300 packs on a server easily.
Well, that's pretty That's like a minimum for me. every single release is 300, and then we'll see from there. But here's a tip, dude. Play Dragon Priest, dude. Like,
oh, is that what I should do? Okay.
No, it's kind of crazy that we have the events so close to the release. I don't think we've ever had events literally the day after, or even a couple days after an expansion.
We had that for Naxxramas.
Did we?
The first wing.
Oh, that was
Prisma Cup.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true.
I won that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why you remember it.
Yeah.
No, so this will be pretty exciting, and the first week's obviously really, really fun too, because you see all kinds of crazy stuff, and most of the time that it doesn't stick around, but it's on record for winning an event. It's actually really cool that way.
Seed Story Cup will be sick.
Yeah,
oh, Seed Story Cup, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the top players, almost all of you guys, all the top players are going to be there, so it should be a lot of fun. The whole marketing, I think, for Kobolds and Catapults, I think has been just amazing. And given that we're like a day before, definitely this is the time to give kudos to the Blizzard team for just all the card reveals, and how they did it. And I mean, I think this last 2 weeks or 3 weeks have been, I mean, the most discussion we've had in the Hearthstone community on like a consistent day-to-day basis. And it's really just how they organized, how they released the reveal. I think they covered the most amount of people too, just with the reveals this time around. So awesome that they did that. They did an escape room event yesterday. I mean,
yeah,
that was cool. Like I thought they were just gonna go to some escape room and just some establishment that's already there, and maybe just a little bit of Kobolds and Catacombs themed. But no, they built that escape room themselves. Like it was literally wherever, maybe on Blizzard campus somewhere or something like that. And I think they just built it from scratch. So that was really, really cool. And you guys watched it at all or no?
I unfortunately had no time to watch because it was like super early in the morning for me.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
it was really late. Yeah.
But what was funny, like 1 month ago, I was in LA and we had like this Red Bull meetup, and Trump was doing escape rooms.
Oh, he loves
every single night.
Yeah.
Every single night, and I'm like, yeah, like maybe one escape room is pretty fun, but he was probably practicing.
I don't know if he just loves escape rooms.
He did it every day.
Yeah, he loves them, man. It's like his real big hobby of his. But
yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I love escape rooms too. It's just something that I do a lot with like a lot of the like pro Hearthstone players. Is like whenever we're at an event, we try and do at least one escape room. Like they're just so much fun, and it was really cool. And I actually think I remember hearing somewhere that someone on, I don't know what aspect of the Hearthstone esports team or Hearthstone team they are, but they actually used to design escape rooms.
Oh,
so that I knew they were gonna do something crazy with like designing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a hard escape room, but still, it was. There were a lot of different rooms, and it was very, very well done in terms of being thematical. Like them going through like dynamite blowing up the wall and going into that room. Things like that. It was really, really neat and creative from the Blizzard team. We have a patch that's out too that came out earlier today and talked about a few things. One thing in particular you seem to be very excited about, Dr. J, that's in this patch. Why don't you talk about that?
Oh, the biggest thing I'm excited for about this patch as a competitive player is the pausing feature. So it may seem very minuscule, but when you're playing with your friends, it'll now pause the game. It'll have a countdown timer, I believe, and it'll count down until they reconnect, and then they'll have the full time that they used to have allotted for their turn back when they first reconnect. And the reason I'm so like near and dear to this little feature is like one thing we had an issue with from a competitive standpoint was if someone ever disconnected for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. It could be something like accidental or for whatever reason, there was no way to really clearly identify what could happen. So the general rule of thumb was if there was a disconnect, if there wasn't present lethal from one side or the other, then it would
Restart.
go to a regame.
Yeah.
And that really affected a lot of players where there were some times where you knew it was an unlosable game state. And I mean, a lot of pro players would agree. It's like, oh, this game's unlosable for the control warrior with 1 million armor and the face hunter with no cards in their deck or hand. But since control warrior can't physically kill their opponent, we have to regame it. So it's a really great feature that they added.
Yeah, I think it's the most elegant way of doing it too, because there have been other games that have done like replay from restart or restart from replays and things like that. But I think just the pause button is really cool because you can just like literally wait, for your opponent to get there, and there's no like timer that's behind the scenes that are going to time somebody out and eventually end the game and things like that. So yeah, it's really cool to keep the state of the game, and it's a huge problem, right? So it's been a hole for like forever now, and if you think about it, we've gotten lucky that it hasn't been just crazy controversial or disastrous at a huge event. We have some, like obviously like disconnects, but can you imagine like for the World Championships and the finals on the last game, and it's literally, a couple, maybe 3 or 4 turns from the end of the game, and then something like that happened? That would be a bad look.
Yeah,
so
it's been getting it got really close at one point with the incident over champs, but I mean, gladly nothing too like I mean that's kind of big. Don't get me wrong, but nothing like.
I don't think it decided the outcome though. Like I think, right? I mean, it might have decided the outcome for that game, but I think overall in the series, right? I think.
Oh, the series was still going on, but
yeah.
The one thing is, it was a very unfavorable matchup. So it was lucky that he even got to that point, and then he just got steamrolled the next game because it's such an unfavorable matchup.
Right. But yeah, so there's a lot more on here. Obviously, all the stuff about the release tomorrow is all in here. It talks about just. Pre-purchasing the bundle, which I need to do right after that because I just realized I didn't. I usually pre-purchase like the first day it comes out, but for some reason this time around I didn't. They talk about receiving the 3 free KNC card packs and the random legendary weapon. When you log in. Talks a little bit about the dungeon runs and at the very end, I think they even talk about the arena changes. So the draft appearances have been adjusted. They really go into that. Some of that doesn't make complete sense to me because I don't follow Arena like super close. I don't know what they were previously, so but definitely Arena players, you'll definitely see the changes. What is that?
I heard Crypt tweeting about that he's super excited about these changes for Arena.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean there's basically numbers here that kind of tell you what the draft appearance rates are, how they were adjusted. So it looks like a lot of these cards were like a huge factor. Like they're definitely doubled or tripled, even 7 times some of them, right? So looks to be pretty good. Looks like there's probably an emphasis on class. There's a spell and weapons here and just class minions and things like that. So that's good. I think changes to Arena is obviously always going to be great, and balancing the appearance rate is actually one of the biggest things that they can do. So awesome. But why don't we get into the cards, because I know everybody's waiting for on that anyways, and we got a lot to talk about. So let's jump into the shaman cards to start off. And given that we have the best shaman in the world, at least historically, and in Hearthstone, Gaara, you want to kick things off? Talk about just any of the cards you think are interesting here?
From these cards, the Healing Rain. So I'm gonna start with the Healing Rain. This is something.
Start with Healing Rain, really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I think it is an amazing card. This is what Control Shaman always needed and was most of the time lacking, especially after the Healing Wave rotated out. Was that the name of the card? Yeah. And the biggest drawback of the Healing Wave was also the Joust, right? You could lose the Joust and then you only heal for 7. And that's obviously really bad when you need to heal for a lot. And this is like a lot of healing consistently. This is like overall just a power creep of Healing Wave if you look at it. And it can also heal your minions on the board. You can control the healing in that way. And another great aspect of the card is that you can discover it from the legendary weapon. And it only targets friendly minions, so you can't heal the opponent's minions. That's like another great way to heal, even though you don't play the Healing Raid. So it's just a good card to have in the Shaman class.
I didn't see the video. Did Healing Rain actually get played during the reveal? With Day9 and Ben. Like, does it heal one at a time? Is it like, like one heal? Like, so if your opponent was playing Priest, for instance, they had an Urshar Cleric. Would they actually draw a crap load of cards?
Yes.
Oh wow! Yes. Okay.
They didn't.
That's
I don't know if they said or announced any of that. But the way it works is it cannot heal minions at full health or characters at full health.
Yeah.
So it'll go one at a time until it recognizes, hey, look, this person's at full health. So it won't be like heal 3 to this guy and then heal 4 to this guy. It'll be like one at a time And I like the thematic of it. It's kind of like Volcano, where something explodes and it hits everything one at a time.
Yeah.
And this one is the anti-volcano, and it rains and everyone gets healed back up.
Pyro with this. Oh my god, Pyromancer. It gets like a North Star cleric that's up or something.
Oh my god.
Dirty red.
Oh,
Dirty red
red.
Pyro.
Yeah, dude. That'd
Full
be
of cleric.
awesome.
GG.
Yeah. How about I mean, not much to say. I mean, I agree with you, Gar. I think healing is definitely something that Shaman totally needed. What about Crushing Hand? You think that's 8 damage to a minion is actually something that we need here?
That currently you would run Devolve and Hex. It's just that do you really need this additional
It's like
removal?
5 mana. Like,
Yeah, it is like 5 mana. And like you have the flexibility, you can use it for 2 mana, but Overload for free is really like a big deal, especially right now with the Curvestone that we have with the Prince decks. Can you really afford to Overload for free? I think like when I looked over the cards, I don't think it will make the cut in any of the new Shaman decks.
What if it would have been 8 damage to any character?
No.
That would have been insane.
It would see play.
Yes, it would almost guarantee see
You
play,
would see
right?
some play for
Yeah.
sure.
I'm a huge fan of Aggro Shaman myself. I loved that deck, but I don't think that's what we need right now. I think that deck had its time. I think dealing 8 damage to face on turn 2.
Oh, man.
ChanManV mean 2 to 8 damage.
Yeah, 2 to 8 damage. That would be that would make sense if it was actually worded that way. All right, Murmuring Elemental. So this is a probably the most intriguing card out of all the 3 of these.
Exactly. I think this is the best card for the Shaman class from the ones we've.
Okay.
Yeah.
Out of these 3, you mean? Yeah. Okay. Out of these 3.
I think from all the cards, it has just the biggest potential because it can be played in so many different decks. It will mainly be played in Jade Elemental Shaman. I think this will be also the strongest archetype. I think it is potentially stronger than the new Token Shaman because it works with the Jade cards. You can get a double Jade from like Jade Spirit, Aya, Jade Claws, whatever, similar to the Brun, and you were playing Brun before as well in Jade decks, but it is also an elemental, so it has the elemental tag, it works with the elemental synergy, and most elementals have also a battle cry, so it works with the Jades and the elementals, and it provides you like an elemental for the elemental next turn.
Yeah.
It's crazy good actually, and that you can run this card twice instead of Brun. It's really, really good. And you can do so many crazy things. Also, like in meme decks, you can play this together with Double Gangster. You can go this Double Gangster Wolf, and you have a full board of 6 6 mana minions, which is pretty much a guaranteed win. It's just so many things you can do. You can play Kalimos and get double discard from Kalimos, which is also so strong. There's so many.
I mean, there's so many good battle cries right now in Hearthstone. Death Rattle and battle cries, but I think more so battle cries. So this card is like you said, it's like a miniature brand, but you can play 2 of them. It's just a great card, and I think that if Shaman didn't have this card, Shaman would be one of those classes that was at the bottom of this expansion in terms of what they got. So yeah, they really really needed this card. So I'm glad.
Also, 2 mana elementals. There are not really good ones.
Yeah,
I think
you're right. It's a hole right in that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that one's a 3 mana one, the discount one, the one that discounts all elemental by 1. That's a 3 mana card, right? So
that's a 2 mana 1/1.
Oh, is that 2 mana?
Yeah,
it's 2 mana 1/1. Sorry, yeah.
But that one was bad, kind of.
Yeah.
It didn't really see any play, but this one is like really good.
Okay. Yeah, so good stuff there. So for those of you that are listening, I just want to go through the cards real quick. So the Healing Rain is 3 mana, common, restore 12 health, divided randomly among all the friendly characters. Crushing Hand, 2 mana, deal 8 damage to a minion, overload 3. And the Murmuring Elemental is a 2 mana rare, 1/1 elemental battle cry. Your next battle cry this turn triggers twice. So you only get 1 shot at it. It's not like Bran where you just keep playing and everything just battle cries twice. You only get it for the very next battle cry. But okay, let's move on to Mage here. Dr. J, got any opinions on these Mage cards?
So the coolest thing, Shifting Scroll. Each turn, this is in your hand. Transform it into a random Mage spell. The only application I can see for this card is Quest Mage. but I'm not sure. I'm not a huge fan of Quest Mage. I think Quest Mage is really gimmicky. I think it's a fun deck. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's really fun to play. I enjoy the deck. I just think it's really gimmicky. So unless this card actually sets it over the top, I don't quite see it working out too well. Dragon's Fury, 5 mana, reveal all spells. Reveal a spell, not all spells. Yeah, reveal all of them. Reveal a spell from your deck. Deal damage equal to its cost to all minions. People have been saying they think this card is good, and I only think it has potential. I don't think it's that good for the reason that you have to run core cards like Ice Block and Frostbolt. So unless you can hit like a Fireball and up, which, I mean, odds are probably higher than most decks that you will be able to hit that. I think you just rather stick with Blizzard, Flame Strike, and you're fine with your AoE package. I'm not a huge fan of this card. I'm not really sold on it. And then the last one, 9 mana Dragon Caller, Alana. It's a 3/3 summon, battlecry summon a 5/5 dragon for each spell you've cast that costs 5 or more. This game. I'm also, people are kind of either excited or think this card's awful. I think the only reason this card might see play is because it helps you with a win condition against Priest. Other than that, I think it's not that good.
Yeah, and Priest can. Well, I mean, they can't do anything at least with Dragonfire, but they have plenty of other things that could remove the board too, right? Even against the full thing there. Gaara, what do you think? You think?
I agree. I play a lot of Control Mage. I played like a couple thousand games of Control Mage in the last 2 months, and I was like very disappointed with these cards. Like, AoE is pretty much what you need. Like, Flame Strike is not good enough anymore, unfortunately. It's like Dragonfire Potion is better, and all the new cards, AoE cards that the other classes are getting are better. And Dragon Fury would be something that would be much needed in a deck like Control Mage. Unfortunately, is like DrJikininki said, it's kind of like a high roll card. You can't build a mage deck without the core cheap mage spells, because they are like pretty much the best mage cards, like Primordial Glyph, Frostbolt, Ice Block. You have to play these cards.
Yeah.
So this card will turn out to be like a high roll card. You hit an expensive spell, you get like an insane board clear. You get unlucky, you get a Frostbolt, you have like a 5 mana Volcanic Potion. And yeah, you don't really want to have a high roll board clear. Like, when you need a board clear, you need a board clear. And so I really don't like this card at all. And the same goes for the Alana. I think, again, like, conditional late game cards are not that good. It's just this card is extremely slow. Against aggressive decks, it is way worse than even Medivh. Like, it's very difficult to, get this card out with value. And against control decks, it's not that good as well, because against Mage, you don't need to use any board clear cards. Because let's say Control Mage, where you would run this card, you never flood the board with any minions. So every control deck never uses their board clear cards against Mage. So they will always have a board clear.
Exactly, right. Yeah.
That's what I mean. So this card is really
probably
not even good versus Priest, right? Because they will have this Psychic Scream, whatever this card is called, and there's never a board from Mage except you play this card, and then they have the counter to it. So I'm not excited.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of these Priest cards are situational. I mean, they had that one super strong card, the 4/5, right? That discounts any spells that you didn't start in your deck. But outside of that, I felt like Mage, at least in the reveal, started kind of strong and then finished pretty flat here. So I don't know. I think overall they're probably bottom half for sure, in terms of what they got from this expansion. But we'll see. It just seems like Quest Mage is like, can you play tempo? Like, have you guys even tried thinking about like Tempo Mage and things like that?
Oh, well,
like,
the one thing with Tempo Mage is they got the new secret, which is insane. I actually think the secret is one of the better cards in the set.
That's true.
It's exactly what Tempo Mage wanted to do with that secret.
Oh, dude, Mage will be tier 1. Like, Mage will be the meta together with Priest.
Which one though? Which
Aggro Mage?
Oh, Secret Aggro Mage. Okay, yeah.
Secret Aggro Mage will be nuts with the legendary weapon. Now you can play Kabalekis, and the new secret is also like super powerful.
Actually. Yeah.
And like, it's crazy. This will be crazy good, and it will also counter the new greedy decks as well, because it's so fast, and you can just
okay, so you think this will be the new aggro deck then? That's
for sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the weapons.
I think DrJikininki agrees.
I agree to an extent. I think it'll definitely be one of the stronger decks, because Explosive Ruins is insane for the reason that if you play neglecting the name of the card. It's the 3-mana 4/3. If you play the 3-mana 4/3 and you put an Explosive Ruins behind it, and they don't have a board state, and they try and tempo out a minion into it, they have to check for. It's basically what Secret Mage wanted over Mirror Entity, for the reason that it accomplishes clearing the minion, which can test your 4/3. On top of it, deals face damage.
Yeah.
So when it does all of that, and then the 4/3 hits face next turn, you're dealing like 8 damage for 3 mana. Like that's just incredible.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Also,
go ahead.
I want to also quickly touch, because I think the second tier 1 mage deck will be the Lylin Manipulator OTK deck. It will replace the Quest Mage because it's so much better. You don't need the Quest anymore to OTK your opponent.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. You don't actually even need it anymore. You get like free apprentices and things like that. It's like nuts. All right, let's see. The next class we got is Warlock. So Warlock's another class I think that has been consistently strong during this reveal, getting something good I think every time we've talked about Warlock. All right, what about this one? Dark Pact. So this one's kind of like an upgraded or a new sacrificial pact where you destroy a minion and you restore 8 health to your hero. It's 1 mana. And then we've got a new 4 mana 7/7, which is a Hooked Reaver, a rare card. It's a demon. Battlecry, if you have 15 or less health, gain +3/+3 in taunt. So you have to have 15 or less health to actually get that 4/7/7. And then lastly, we got Possessed Lackey, 2/2, 5 mana, rare card, Death Rattle, recruit a minion. Okay, so what do you guys think of these cards? Like, any of these cards really stand out as being something strong to you guys?
You can go first, Gaara.
Let's talk about Dark Pact. I think cards like these are just not good enough anymore, just because of the overall power creep in Hearthstone.
Yep,
I think a card that just heals is not gonna be played like any longer.
You might be able to extend that. A card that just does one thing, period, seems to be like, that seems to be fading, because that's just not enough value in this game anymore.
I mean, just look at Death Knights, right? They heal you passively, they give you 5 armor, and they're just like a crazy win condition. Cards like Ultimate Infestation, you get like a passive heal for 5. This is really crazy, but we have those cards in the game right now. And if you compare these cards with like Dark Pact, they're just, you have to sacrifice a minion to get 8 heal. It's just not good enough.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice that they do have a heal option though. So, if you were trying to deck build in some way, there's that at least for you. So I have always thought that Warlock should have something where, at least in the toolkit, where they can try to do something. But yeah, right now I just don't see it actually being.
Compared to Earthen Scales, right? You play Earthen Scales in Big Druid, you use it on like a Deathwing or something, you get a 1 mana 12 armor, and you don't have to sacrifice a minion. With Auctioneer, you would cycle it. It's just so much better, just in comparison.
Yeah. Okay, how about Hooked Reaver? I've got 5 health and 4/7/7 Molten Giant Dreams, stuff like that.
Hooked Reaver is definitely an interesting card. I'm not sure how to evaluate this card, because a lot of times when I look at cards, I like to evaluate the first thing is how good is it on the mana cost that you play it. So, for instance, the most likely time I would want to play Hooked Reaver, especially since it seems to be a more of aggressive card, even though it can be defensive since you can get the taunt, is that you want to play it on 4. And the odds are you're not really going to be on 15 or less health at turn 4, especially in Zulak, because you're either going to be training minions on board or you're going to be playing against another control deck. However, it is really good in the late game when you're life tapping and then you just 7/7 just hits the board. And then in control Warlock, if you're tapping constantly and you're playing against an aggro deck, this kind of works as just a pseudo taunt. Sometimes can be better than, let's say, they used to play Twilight Drake. Yeah, I think where you just play that minion and they just ignore it. They can't ignore this. So I think it has potential, and a lot of the Warlock cards do. It just does it find room in those Warlock decks.
Yeah. Okay, and then lastly, Possessed Lackey. Do you like this recruit demon type of thing? I mean, recruiting. I find like these recruit decks, or the decks that are going to have recruit, are going to be ones that either need to run just very, very large minions, right? So you can just get the max value out of it. But a lot of these minions have battle cries, like you lose a lot of the value if you do just summon them, out of nowhere. So, what do you think about just a card this is like probably the most vanilla-ish type of recruit outside of this. This is a death rattle instead of just straight, just recruit a demon. What do you think about this?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is Potion of Madness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big warlock.
Yes, exactly.
It's becoming a deck. Possessed Lackey is I want it to be good for the reason that I would love to play a control warlock where Possessed Lackey cheats out Void Lord, and I think Void Lord's
Yeah.
insane.
Right.
The issue is it's a 5-mana 2/2, and it's just so weak. So I don't know how feasible that is, but I think it's something worth trying.
Yeah. This is like 2016 balancing, man. This just doesn't work in 2017. It's just not good enough, right? Okay, so now, go ahead. You're gonna say something?
It just came to my mind. Isn't the Hooked Reaver very similar to Molten Giant? Like you get a 4-mana 7/7 with Taunt. If you compare it to Molten Giant and how you played Molten Giant, like past if you're lower than 50 HP, you can play him. I think you could play him very similar to Molten Giant.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think about it that way. Like it just came to my mind.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
It's nice that it's a demon too. Like it'll come back, right? Actually, when you gold on too, but it won't come back as a 7/7 though, right? It comes back. It's just
come back at 4/4.
Yeah, it just comes back at a 4/4. All right. So next up we got Priest. Oh man. Priest. Man, I mean, I being a Priest player, loving life, with this expansion. But damn, dude, like just when you thought your life was good, just with everything that was already announced for Priest, then they come out with some of these cards, which we're talking Psionic Probe, 1-mana, copy a spell in your opponent's deck and add it to your hand. That's all right. 3-mana Twilight Acolyte, epic 2/4 battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, swap this minion's attack with another minion's. Holy crap, that card is crazy. And then Gilded Gargoyle, 3-mana, Death Rattle, add a coin to your hand. So, and it's a 2/2 body. Twilight Calls, a spell, 3-mana, rare, summon 1/1 copies of 2 friendly Death Rattle minions that died in this game. So if you're playing a Death Rattle deck, that's easy to do. And then finally, the Spellstone is a diamond. Of course, it's a diamond for a priest. It's a 7-mana Lesser Diamond Spellstone. Resurrect 2 friendly minions. And this is when you cast 4 spells so every time you cast 4 spells, you upgrade it. So it eventually gets to Resurrect 3, and then it gets to Resurrect 4 at max. All right. So which card do we? I mean, I think the biggest elephant in the room is the Twilight Acolyte, because I think it's an insane card, because when there was like dream scenarios, and we were like, what card would you just like Priest to have? Like if you could just pick any card in any other class, like what would be a good fit for Priest? And it's like, oh yeah, Aldor Peacekeeper, that'd be a great one. You know what I mean? Like it's just like so many cards to combo with. So they kind of got it with this. I mean, they got a better version of Aldor Peacekeeper, I think, with this, because you're able to turn any like basically any minion's attack into 2, and then on top of that, you gain that attack on this minion, which is like crazy good. The only requirement that you have is you have to be running a dragon deck, and it's just like dragon deck's already good, right? So, yeah, what are y'all's thoughts on this?
So besides the obvious thing that you can just swap stats and negate like a big minion on board and get your own big minion on board, is the combo potential of this card. You have your own Kodo combo now with Priest, with Shadowed Pain, which for 5 mana you play him and Shadowed Pain to take out any minion basically, and you get something big on the board, and you can combine this with Portion of Madness, you can combine this with Cabal Shadow Priest, just heal any minion.
Yeah, you choose what you kill.
Yeah,
like you choose. It's not like Kodo where it's just random. It's like you're picking whatever you want.
Yeah. Horror too. I mean, it's just like any of those things. It's also insane. It's like
it's also great for Dragon Priest, because a lot of times if you just play this on, let's say 3, and they had like a 3 attack minion, you then have an aggressively statted minion that you're just curving out into, and it's just this card is just very aggressive too, which is something Dragon Priest is wanting to do. You just play this minion. Let's say you swap attack in the mirror match, you do a Draconoid Operative. It's now a 5/4 that they like have to answer, and then you can do tempo things with it. You can just play this alongside a dragon, and it's just insane, and it has combo potential. It's just a really overall just solid good card.
Just compare him to Shrinkmeister.
Yeah.
From before.
Kind of Shrinkmeister, yeah.
So much better. Like you use Shrinkmeister for, let's say, Cabal to steal an Ysera or whatever. You can do the same with this guy, but so much more.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, it's just good. I mean, nowhere have we ever seen a card. There's been Tankmaster too, right? Shrinkmeister, Tankmaster. There's all kinds of cards where we've been able to transform like huge things, and just have a minion that does that, right? But never have we actually gotten a buff to the existing one too, and that's where it's just like insane power, crazy. All right, so let's talk about let's see, maybe the Spellstone. I think Spellstone and maybe the Gargoyle have a little bit to do with each other, given that the Gargoyle gives you coins and the Spellstone is dependent upon how many spells you cast. Yeah, what do you think about this? This is Resurrect. I mean, this is like Kazakus material here.
Okay, the Spellstone is great. I would like to comment on the Gargoyle and say I really wish this was a Paladin card. Like, I really wish this was a Paladin card for the reason that it would give access to OTK Paladin. Like it would give more sources for OTK Paladin, which would buff that deck.
That's true.
But like in Priest, it's really bad. I mean, unless you're playing like the Death Rattle Priest, then I don't seeing play. However, the Spellstone is a phenomenal card in Big Priest, and that card's just insane in Big Priest. It's just, I mean,
statues, man. Oh my god,
statues, Lich Kings, Yseras.
Yeah,
you can put a Barnes in there. I don't care. It's rezzing my Ysera. The card's really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Lesser Spellstone is absolutely crazy. I think people are not aware how crazy this is in Vectorate. It's like, it's not even that difficult to upgrade the stone, but even I think it is the only upgrade card that is good even if you don't upgrade it.
Yes.
That's a good point. Just resurrecting 2 is that's
like
quite
2
a bit
big
too.
minions for 7 mana is crazy. And if it's more than that, it's like GG. Get a couple like Iseras and Obsidian such whatnot. It's like, how do you kill that?
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy card. And gives the deck also more consistency, the Big Priest, which is also scary.
I mean, it's good in Dragon Priest too, right? It's not too bad in Dragon Priest resurrecting like operatives and whatever dragons too, right? It's not issue good, with but it's not.
The issue with it in Dragon Priest is you're also playing things like Northshire and Netherspite Historian, so you kind of
Twilight Drake even.
Yeah, and then even Twilight Acolyte's not that great to pull back from it. So it's mostly just a Big Priest card for the reason that you can guarantee it hitting 2 big minions. And even if it resurrects a Barnes alongside, it's like that doesn't even matter because the Barnes is either alongside a Lich King or a Ysera or both. It's just a really good card.
Priest of the Feast is pretty good too. Like it's whatever, right? It's generally going to give you way more than 7 mana of value there.
Yes.
Twilight's Call. Summon a 1/1 copy of 2 friendly Death Rattles in the deck that died this game. What do you think about that?
I don't think it's that good.
Quest Priest.
Yeah, it'll only see play in Quest Priest, and I don't think
yeah.
Quest Priest really is a deck right now. I mean, maybe this single-handedly makes it a deck. I don't think so though.
Yeah. And then last note, Psionic Probe. That's pretty much just like a Mind Vision-ish type of thing, right? Or let's see, copy a spell in your opponent's deck and then add it to your hand. Okay, yeah. So just not steal, but that sort of card that we've had in the past in Priest. So nothing too strong there. But man, Priest is going to. I mean, they definitely did really well. Whoever designed the Priest cards. Man, that guy did a great job, at least power level wise, because they're going to be really, really good. It's going to be good to see. It'll probably be one of the biggest disappointments, or one of the biggest like misreads ever if Priest is not good. I think coming out of this expansion.
There's no way. It's not. There's no way.
Somehow, of all those things, like, somehow flop. I don't know how it can. But, all right, next up we got Paladin. Yeah, Paladin here. So we've got Dr. J. You want to lead us into this one, maybe?
Yeah, I can lead us into this one. The first card is Potion of Heroism. It's 2 mana. Give a minion Divine Shield. Draw a card. There's Crystalline, 6 mana. Divine Shield costs 1 less for each Silver Hand recruit you control. It's a 5/5. And then there's Valinir, 6 mana, 4/2 weapon.
Oh, I think I lost.
Re-equip this.
Oh, I lost you for a second.
Oh, did I cut out for a second? Sorry, that was Discord. Valinir, 6 mana, 4/2 weapon. Death Rattle, give a minion in your hand, +4/+2. When it dies, re-equip this. I think Potion of Heroism is really good. I think that card's pretty solid. I think Crystalline is awful, unless they print more Silverhand Recruit support that puts it on the board like a card like Muster for Battle. Crystalline has potential, but I don't think right now it's good. And then Valenier is really hard to evaluate. Valenier is one of those cards where I think it's either unplayable or it's like
super good,
played
right?
in every Paladin deck
Yeah.
for the reason that I used to think it was you play it and then after it dies you get it back to your hand, but it's re-equip, which is really good because it's 6 mana and then basically you almost have this permanently equipped as long as you can play the minions or you have a minion in your hand when it dies. So I think Paladin's kind of lacking some cards. I don't think Paladin would be that strong, but I think the best card they got probably is Potion of Heroism, and at least in these 3.
Yeah, Gar, your take?
Yeah, I agree with most of what you said. It's just Potion of Heroism. When I thought about the card, is I wouldn't know in which deck I would really want to play it. In Control Paladin, for instance, it's very rare that you have the board control, so you don't really have a minion which you want to give a Divine Shield to trade it in. And in Aggro Paladin, does it really make the card a 2-mana card that gives you Divine Shield in cycles? It's probably too expensive. So yeah, in a nutshell, it looks like a great card, but in what deck you want to really play it in?
Yeah.
And the Crystalline, it's very similar. It's not a bad card if you look at it. And like as soon as you can get 2 Silverhand Recruits on the board, it's already like a 4-mana 5/5. But again, there's no deck that would want to play the Silverhand Recruit cards, except you play it like as a new archetype, a mid-range Paladin deck that plays all the Silverhand Recruit cards. Because there is actually a lot of Silverhand Recruits cards. There's like the new 2-drop, there's like the Vine Cleaver, there's like a lot of Silverhand Recruit cards. And as soon as you can get 3 recruits on the board, it's a powerful card. 3-mana 5/5 with Divine Shield, but it's like a new archetype. And if mid-range Paladin is good, you would play this card, but probably only in that deck. And Valenier as well, extremely difficult to evaluate. In Control Paladin, you just play way too many weapons. You oftentimes, even right now already, you have oftentimes situations where you just have too many weapons. You have Uta on 8 and Tyrion on 8. You want to play Uta on 9, but then you either discard your Ashbringer charges or your Uta weapon charges, and now you have Valenier, and Valenier is like an endless weapon. It's like get it.
Yeah, it's
forever.
infinite value. It's like infinite value, right? So
yeah, but this is the only weapon that has actually anti-weapon hate synergy. Like it's good versus cards like Oz or Harrison Jones. There's no other weapon that has that.
The Druid
so like
one, the Druid weapon is anti. Right?
Oh yeah, true.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, but not in the way of this gives you like value.
This is like no doubt. Yeah, it's just infinite value. Yeah.
So it's good, right? But the second problem with this card is the 6-mana slot is actually the strongest slot for Paladin. You have Spikered Steed and Sunkeeper Tarian, right?
Yeah.
Which are like super powerful cards, and then you have like another 6-mana card. So yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of tough. Yeah, I think I kind of agree. I mean, the Valenier is it's very tempting, and I think a lot of people would, I think be quick to just say, wow, that's a crazy amount of value. But yeah, it just doesn't fit right now. I don't even, maybe some kind of mid-range if it actually ever developed and you wouldn't want to play Strike. There's no way you would not play Spike Ridged or tear him in those type of decks. So yeah, there's I think that this might just sit on the shelf for a while. Potion of Heroism is cool because if you play Linessa, Sun Sorrow, that legendary that basically gets all the buffs that you've cast. I mean, this is great. Heroism adds value to that too. So you get a, just get a Spike Ridge Steed and this. That's an amazing minion that you got there with Linessa. So yeah, I think that's probably the strongest. Crystal Lion, I don't know. I think it can be good later. I have a feeling that card will be good. It probably is good in Wild right now. Like, when you have, muster for battle and ways to do that. There are multiple ways to summon multiple Silverhand Recruits. Like they added like 1 or 2 cards too, right? So if you add up all those in Wild, then you got, probably a free Crystal Lion or at least a 1 or 2 mana Crystal Lion, which is like kind of insane. But yeah, so Paladin, it's kind of like middle of the road, I think, by the end of this expansion. Like they got some neat stuff. They just didn't get crazy, like insanely powered things that some of the other classes got. All right, Warrior. Gaara, you want to talk about some of these, or you want to lead us through some of these?
Yeah, these are like very different cards. Like you would play in very different decks.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Golem.
Okay.
Very cool card. If you compare it to an Ancient of War, it is like a 6-mana 5/9. So almost as good as an Ancient of War for Taunt Warrior.
Yeah.
And another interesting thing about this card is the 6-mana slot was like the only weak slot for Taunt Warrior. You had no good 6-mana Taunt minion.
Right.
And so like crazy good card for that deck. Also, it's like a good card to recruit. Yeah, a 5/9, pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Good stats, interesting card. Yeah.
It's a statue otherwise, right? It's a statue unless you have 5 or more armor. That's what the Texas taunt can only attack if you have 5 or more armor. But that's fine, right? Even if it just sits there, it's like completely good.
It's not such a big drawback as long as the minion has taunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like on the ones without taunt, it's a huge drawback. The Kobold Barbarian is not very powerful. It's kind of like a Ogre Brute because it uses up the attack, right? It's random. The only deck which would potentially play this card would be Tempo Warrior or Pirate Warrior, but those decks have already like a good free drop with the Southsea Captain and the Darkshire Bloodsail Cultist. I think you would play those cards over this guy. And it's just not good enough anymore because of the power creep. It's kind of like an Ogre Brute. Would you play an Ogre Brute nowadays? Probably not in any deck.
Nope.
It's just not good enough, I would say. And the Woe Cleaver is extremely powerful if you have like a new Recruit Warrior deck, Big Warrior. It's like on the first charge, you get like immediately a Gromage. You can see this card as like an additional free weapon for free, on top of getting like this big minion out. But past that turn, you get always a big minion out for free, which is kind of crazy value if this weapon sticks.
Yeah.
Like you begin your turn with pulling out a big minion. It's crazy powerful. And the Bladed Gauntlet is actually a card that is, again, very difficult to evaluate. You kind of have to see how this card feels in the new Control Warrior decks. Like, if it feels too clunky or too weak, right? Because it has great potential, right? With like Sheep Block on Curve, for instance. You play this one too. It's very unique because you can't take out the minion immediately, which you're used to with the Warx. Mm-hmm. But it's much stronger afterwards. If you have cards like Sheep Block, for instance, you can take out like a much bigger minion, like a Scalebane or something, which you're also not used to.
Yeah. So the Bladed Gauntlet is an epic that has attack equal to your armor. It can't attack heroes. So lots of armor synergy. Continues it obviously with this, and as well as gem-studded Golem. But the Woe Cleavers, I feel like the Woe Cleaver is one of those weapons that would cause people to play Ooze, you know, because I think a lot of people's first instinct was like, everybody's going to play Ooze no matter what. Like, this is just like a weapons expansion, right? So it's a no-brainer. But, you know, there hasn't been that many, you know, crazy powerful weapons. So I feel like it's like right there. Like, I can totally see why people arguing about running, you know, Ooze and everything, and I can see people like taking the chance not to. But Woe Cleaver is a type of, you know, the type of card that can win you games. So people would, if whatever Control Warrior became popular, they would definitely run Harrison or whatever. Yeah, Dr. J, what's your take?
I think Bladed Gauntlet's really bad. I think Kobold Barbarian's really bad. I think Jet-Studded Golem is really good for Taunt Warrior.
Yeah.
Question is, how good is Taunt Warrior? We see it seeing play in competitive play now to an extent. So this will definitely see it'll definitely be fitting there. And then Woe Cleaver, I don't think it's good. Woe Cleaver, it's just maybe if there is some kind of big warrior deck that comes out of it. The issue is I don't think there will be a big warrior deck with the new 6-mana recruit and then this card. So I think overall it's kind of bad. I just don't like it. But the only card I really like here is Gem-Studded Golem.
Yeah, so the real question about warrior is that you know, I like all the synergy that they did with armor. It completely makes sense. I think historically I've always just liked that type of design for warrior. But what is their end game? You know, I think that's the one thing missing here. Like things like Woe Cleaver, like you said, and recruiting minions. It's like really, really cool, but there's just no minions to even recruit off of, like you do with
it's just
with
not
priests,
good enough yet.
You know? And so it could be in the future, but right now it's like, how do you play warrior, guys? Like, any ideas?
Deadman's Hand.
I mean, yeah. But then
I want to play Pirate Warrior, but Bladed Gauntlet can't go face. So I'm disappointed.
Oh my god. Freaking, that would be insane, doing 10 damage to the face or something like that.
That should have been the legendary weapon. It should have been Bladed Gauntlet, 10 mana. your armor count. It's a 0/1, and your armor count is how much it can have. I would have played that card.
And then the 5 ooze meta becomes in. Counter meta comes into play because you can literally lose to 1 weapon.
You only need 1 swing, Chan, man. They can't ooze it out of your hand.
That's crazy. All right, next up we got Rogue. Okay, Rogue got a few things here. So we got Kingsbane, which is the legendary weapon. It's a 1-mana 1/3 death rattle. Shuffle this into your deck, and it keeps its enchantments. So if you poisoned it and all that good stuff, when it gets back in your deck, it's actually still upgraded. Kind of interesting. A 2-mana. We got a Cavern Shiny Finder, 2-mana common, 3/1 Battlecry. Draw a minion from your deck. So you can maybe find that Kingsbane if you need. Elven Minstrel is a 4-mana 3/2. Draw 2 minions after you combo from your deck. And then lastly, we got the Spellstone, which is an Onyx. It's destroy 1 random minion, and then if you place 3 death rattles, upgrade it. And it goes all the way up to destroy 3 random minions, which is like, wow, that's pretty cool. That I guess rogues can, remove even more than they can already. But yeah, overall, any of these cards really stand out to you guys? Like, is the weapon going to be something?
Worst one.
Which one?
Oh, the worst one?
The Spellstone.
Spellstone's worse than Crushing Walls.
Well, Crushing Wall's not a Spellstone, right? So
no, I know. No, what I'm saying is the card is worse than Crushing Walls.
Oh, you think it's worse than Crushing Walls?
Yes, I think it's just Spellstone's just awful.
Yeah. I mean, it is a deck. It is a card for Death Rattle Rogue, and Death Rattle Rogue is not really
pretty bad. Yeah, deck. Yeah.
So yeah, that is just unplayable. And the second worst card is the Shiny Finder. To find a weapon, a 2-mana 3/1 that just dies to patches. It's just completely unplayable. And yeah, like it won't see play till the next year's rotation, and then probably also not. But for now, it's completely unplayable. Those two
cards. I'm on the fence about Shiny Finder. I think Shiny Finder has potential if Kingsbane is really good. One good thing about Shiny Finder is that you can curve it out with Shadow Blade. So you can play this on 2 and then get Shadow Blade on 3. I don't know how good that is. That's probably not as good as being able to find Kingsbane whenever you want. The question is Kingsbane good enough to warrant running Shiny Finder in a Miracle Rogue deck? That's the question.
I mean, how many enchantments really are there? Like there's poison, there's the envenomous, like the one that puts in venomous poison, I think it is, right? Both poisons basically. And then
I actually talked with Mr. Yogood about it yesterday quite a bit, the Kingsbane. What is very cool about this is you can't fatigue with Rogue if you have this card, because you can always hero power over this card, and you get it always back in your deck.
Oh, good.
For Miracle Rogue, this is extremely interesting. Also for Mill Rogue, which is very potentially a good deck with this expansion as well. It gets a lot of good cards. And if you play Miracle Rogue, like with Deadly Poison, you have like an infinite weapon. This is kind of like sometimes a problem with Rogue. You just, run out of damage. And with this card, you kind of have infinite damage. And let's say if you have Life Leech and just Deadly Poison, like you really underestimate that you have like infinite damage with this card. Like you just have it equipped.
Well, we just talked about Valinir though, and Valinir has infinite damage too, right?
So... But Valinir, you have to dedicate the mana to a minion, whereas this, let's say you get to a game state where you have no cards in your deck, and you have this card in your hand, you just equip it, you swing face for most likely 5, I'm going to assume 5 because that's with 2 Deadly Poisons buffed on it. You go face for 5, you then re-equip the dagger, it goes back into your deck, you then get it again, you do the exact same, you do dedicate 3 mana every turn to that. Yeah. And you do 5 damage a turn. The question is, can Miracle Rogue afford to do that? Against some control decks, maybe. But against most decks, probably not. So the question is it worth running? Because I think the only things you'll really hit with this are Deadly Poisons. So in order to consistently hit Deadly Poison on this card, you would have to run something like Cavern Shiny Finder. But the question is, like, is that package good enough to be ran in a Miracle Rogue deck? And the answer is maybe. I don't know. It's hard to evaluate. That's why I like this, because it's hard to evaluate.
Yeah.
Like if you play also the Ministrel, you can always find a weapon like very fast.
Yes.
Because the guy always draws minions, and then this guy always draws the weapon.
Yeah. So like the weapon is the win condition. So if they're like a bunch of
I mean, if you always
harbingers, basically, harbingers ways
Oh no,
of
the win
finding it.
condition.
Yeah.
The win condition is beating them down with 4/4s.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
nice.
love that card.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. All right. So going from Rogue, we got the stepchild of the of Hearthstone. We got Hunter here. So, all right. Let's see if Hunter got enough to help them out here. We got Candle Shot, 1 mana, 1/3 immune while attacking. So this is a weapon. We've got a 3 mana minion, 2/4 beast, Cave Hydra. Also damages the minion next to whomever this attacks. And then we got Flanking Strike, 4 mana, deal 3 damage to a minion, summon a 3/3 wolf. And then to my side, 6 mana spell, epic, summon an animal companion, or 2 of them if your deck has no minions in it. Yeah, I said that right, guys. No minions in a Hunter deck. And then we got Lesser Emerald Spellstone. Summon 2 3/3 wolves. Play a secret to upgrade it. So you have to play it in a secret Hunter. It gets all the way up to so summon 4 3/3 wolves. And then lastly, we've got the Rock Dalar, which is a 7 mana weapon, 4/2. It's a legendary, and it's battle cry. If your deck has no minions again, fill your hand with Hunter spells when you equip this. All right, so going into these cards, Hunter had just garbage, okay? I mean, just for the most part, there were maybe some cards that were like, oh, okay, maybe you could play these, and they're kind of like on the same kind of power level. I mean, you got that legendary that some people thought was pretty decent at 8, but nothing overpowered, right? Like, clearly nothing that was on the level of any of the other classes that had crazy, just disgusting cards. So are any of these cards in disgusting value territory or power?
Honestly, like as crazy as it sounds, all of them are for discussion. Like all of these cards, I think, are able to discuss. I'm gonna start with the no minions Hunter because that's the big meme going around every now and then. I've heard actual comments like To My Side has been the worst printed card in any card game since the 2 of Clubs. And I've heard that comment before, and I started laughing.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the one thing is, To My Side and Rogue Dalar, and even a card like Flanking Strike and the Lesser Emerald Spellstone are all good cards if No Minion Hunter is a thing. Currently, No Minion Hunter is not a thing, but if there are 2 more cards or like 3 more cards away, like To My Side from being a thing and being a powerful thing, because people say that like To My Side, oh, you're not going to play minions in your Hunter, whatever, yada yada. But To My Side, 2 animal companions on 6 is actually pretty good. It's not that bad if you can consistently get it off. The issue is right now you can't do that. Flanking Strike is a really good card. People are playing things like Phoenix Heart or Phoenix Plume, Fire Plume Phoenix, I think it is.
Yep.
And that's 4 mana 3/3 deal 2 elemental. This is 4 mana 3/3 deal 3 beast, which is really good. The Emerald Spellstone is good if you upgrade it once, and most likely with the new secret and then other secrets, you're going to be able to upgrade it once. Cave Hydra the Cave Hydra I have kind of a fondness for, and I like it, card. But a lot of people are saying it's bad, but I have to defend it by saying we've never had such a powerful effect on a low stat line card.
Yeah.
So for instance, the only times we have seen this, I think, have been the Warrior Weapon, which is actually decent, from Scourgelord Garrosh, and the Warrior Minion, which was the 5 mana 4/3, which is just awful stat line. It might have been a 5 mana 5/3. But this one is a 3 mana 2/4, which means it has somewhat survivability because 4 health on a 3 drop is decent. And it really helps Hunter with the issue of being bad against aggro decks because they have to kill this. If they don't, you're going to make a trade onto a minion that they most likely didn't want you to trade into, and you're clearing up 2 minions with it, and then it lives most of the time. And then the last card, Candle Shot. I used to think, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, this card's actually pretty good. But then I compared it to Light's Justice and Paladin. And I'm like, well, Candle Shot's kind of a little better than that, and Light's Justice doesn't see play. But the one interesting part about Candle Shot is Hunter notoriously has had an issue with pinging 1 damage off. So it could be beneficial in that merit. So I like all of these Hunter cards to an extent.
Okay. Gaara, how about you?
Yeah, I think also with Candle Shot, it's very good for Hunter's Mark. I think you can play Hunter's Mark because of this card. Because you usually combine Hunter's Mark with Unleash the Hounds, and Unleash the Hounds is a terrible card.
Yeah.
And you don't really have other ways to deal 1 damage. For example, if Hunter had the Mage Hero power instead, you would always play Hunter's Mark, I'm pretty sure. And if you run double Candle Shot, I'm pretty sure you can just afford to play Hunter's Mark. And that is actually a very effective way to maintain tempo with the Hunter's Mark and the Candle Shot. I think this card is very good. Also, the immune is very important, that you don't take phase damage by killing stuff, because Hunter has like no ways to regenerate health. I think it's a really big deal. And together with the neutral beast that Hunter is getting, which Hunter really needed, I think Hunter has an excellent curve now, very powerful curve, ways to really maintain the board. What I don't like about the 5 mana upgrade spell is it gets countered by the priest, dragon free drop, which is printed in the same expansion. Kill deals 3 damage to the board, so it really limits the power level of that card. I really like the 4 mana spell actually the most. I think it's super powerful. And Hunter really was lacking in the 4 mana slot. 4 mana slot is one of the most powerful mana slots in the game, besides the 2 mana slot. And now you can play a card that is not Houndmaster, that is very, very strong. I think Hunter can build a very powerful deck. And I can't wait to see the power level of the deck. Is it tier 1? Is it tier 2? It's I think it looks very promising. Hunter is.
Yeah, so I mean that's definitely good news. Yeah, the Cave Hydra, I kind of like this card too, Dr. J. It's a 3 mana card. That's the only problem. There's so many 3 mana cards in Hunter. It's always been that's
the biggest issue with it.
It's like always been the value slot for Hunter. They've always had good 3 mana cards. So having another one there, it's like tough. But it's great because it plays right into the Houndmaster play right after too, and then all of a sudden you're removing.
And raise some more poisonous.
What's that?
Raise some more poisonous to probably take out a few minions.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, to my side, I kind of agree with that too. It's like if you're not talking about you're talking about it as in a vacuum. Of course, that card's bad because it was made for a specific deck. So clearly, it's made for an all spell or non-minion deck. And if it is, then 2 animal companions. An animal companion is 3 mana, right? But 2 of them together is actually worth more than like its parts, right? So I think that's where you can see, like, if you get a Leok with a Huffer, or you get a Leok with whatever, right? Like it's going to be pretty good. 2 Leoks, maybe not quite, but I think 2 of them together are just going to be good value there. I'm not so sold on the Spellstone though. I don't really love the Spellstone actually that much. There's just too many things, man. Enforcers. You mentioned the Priest card. You name whatever removal, it removes this. And you'd have to play 2 of them to maybe get the second one. I think have a decent percentage, like fill on the board. So I'm okay. Candle Shot. I think you guys convinced me on that one. I thought that card wasn't that great, but now that you mentioned a few uses of it, I could actually see that being played. So yeah, maybe Hunter in the end is going to figure out a niche. It's probably the same niche it normally has, to be honest, but maybe it can actually get some or at least have enough power now that it can actually make a difference. All right, Druid next. Okay, Druid gets a lot of under 5 or under 6 mana cards, which is going to be interesting here. Barkskin, 1 mana, give a minion 3 health, 3 armor. Greed Sprite, Death Rattle, gain an empty mana crystal, so another ramp card. Ironwood Golem, taunt, only attack if you have 3 or more armor, and this is a 4 mana 3/6. And then 4 mana Oaken Summons spell. It's a common. Gain 6 armor. Recruit a minion that costs 4 or less. And then another 4 mana 3/5 Astral Tiger. Death Rattle. Shuffle a copy of this minion into your deck. So that's like a never-ending card. And a 5. And lastly, we've got, how do you pronounce that, man? Ixlid, I guess. Ixlid Fungalord. It's a legendary 5 mana 2/4 elemental. After you play a minion, summon a copy of it. Okay, so cheap. These are cheap minions for a druid. Yet they're not like what you would say are token druid looking. That kind of aggro druid looking. So what's your take on this? Is this kind of like maybe the start of a mid range druid of sorts? The looks of like.
So I don't like Bark Skin at all. I think Bark Skin's really bad. You'd just rather play like Earthen Scales or something.
Yeah.
Even in like an aggro deck, it's like you have Mark of the Lotus. I don't think giving a minion +3 health and gaining 3 armor is worth it. Astro Tiger, you just play Jade Idol. Like I'd almost rather play a 1-up Jade Idol than 2 of these guys. Like I just think Astro Tiger's not that great. Then he gets to Ironwood Golem, and Ironwood Golem is decent if Taunt Druid becomes a thing. The issue is I don't think Taunt Druid will become a thing because all the other Druids are just that much better, and it's like a little better than Sen'jin Shieldmaster. Oaken Summons, people have been saying this card's really good, and I can see it. I just don't personally like it. I think it's kind of mediocre at best. Greedy Sprite, I'm actually excited for. I think Greedy Sprite's actually decent. It gives you more ramp options in decks like Big Druid, so I like it for that reason. It also might make another kind of mid-range or combo Druid a thing, and I really like Exilid. I don't know if Zilid is good. The Fungal Lord is good, but I like it for the flavor of what it can do. And a lot of people have told me, well, why don't you just run Faceless? But I like this for the reason that you can build a deck like Mali Druid, where you use this card, use Twig of the World Tree, you have an OTK combo, but if worse comes to worse, instead of tunnel visioning on that combo, like how old Mali Druid was, what you can do is sometimes you can just go Fungal Lord, Arcane Giant, and you have a 16/16 on the board for free. And you also can run like the new 5-mana 4/4 Arcane Tyrant, and you can play this and maybe Nourish or something, and then play a 4/4, and you get 2 of them. So I think this card is actually versatile, and I like it, but I don't know how good it is.
Gar, how about you?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much all of it. I think that the Fungal Lord can potentially also be played in Aggro Druid. I think it's very good with tokens, especially with the new token. There's like the 0/2 with Divine Shield Taunt. And like in Token Druid, you play so many taunt minions with a lot of health. And yeah, if this one is like tough to kill, let's say you buff him with Mark of the Lotus, you have a 3/5 that is hiding behind like a bunch of taunts. And then you just get so many tokens out so easily. Yeah, I think in Aggro Druid, he might make the cut. And Sprite as well, I think, might potentially be played in also like a Greedia mid-range / token Druid, or like the fast J Druid. Like there were like versions where you played the Putrifier, or whatever this card is called, that gives you like a bunch of mana if you have like a bunch of minions on the board.
Pilfered Power, yeah.
Pilfered, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the deck that plays the beasts, the cheap beasts, but curves out into Ultimate Infestation and Bone Mare.
Yeah.
This is like an aggressive ramp card instead of like a passive one. So I really like it. And also what is unique about this card is you finally have a way of counterplay to a ramp. You never had any form of counterplay. This really annoyed me personally a lot. Like a Druid just plays Solitaire, you go Wild Growth, Maya Keeper, Nourish, you just do your own stuff, and then you go to Infestation, and there's nothing you can do about it. And once these cards rotate out, now they have to play this card because it's like probably the remaining ramp card. You have a form of silencing it and whatnot.
Yeah,
I really like the design.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about silence. How important do you think silence is going to be in this deck? I mean, there's a card in particular I want to talk about silence coming up, but just generally like silence, you think it's going to be a regular thing? Like every single, at least control deck will be running silence? You think that's something?
It's just that there's not so many good silence cards in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
So
they
you
didn't
don't have
add
options.
much, right? They didn't add a single silence card, I don't believe.
No.
Yeah.
Mm.
Earthshock might make a comeback. This guy.
All right, let me see if we can get to that card that I kind of want to bring up here. I think it's at the very, very end, actually. Okay, well, we got a bunch of neutral cards now. So there are tons of neutral cards. We got 4 sets of these. So let's kind of maybe just pick and choose the ones that we want to talk about. We don't have to actually introduce each one. Which ones do you think are really interesting? We have an ooze here. So we got a Corrosive Sludge. It's a new one. Battlecry, destroy our opponent's weapon, 5 mana, 5/5. Do we need that? I mean,
no.
It's like we already have like 3 different ways to kill a weapon that just like think off.
What could be is maybe they move Harrison Jones to Hall of Fame. I hope they don't.
Oh,
but if you print this,
I think so.
right? If you,
okay,
it could
maybe.
be. I hope not.
Hope not either. I like Harrison Jones.
Yeah.
Things belong at a museum, and he's there to give it to him.
I mean, he's like one of the mascots, man. How can you get rid of one of the faces of Hearthstone?
They got rid of Sylvanas.
Yeah. Well,
And
Sylvanas was the epitome of coin flip, so in a lot of ways, like Ragnaros. All right, anything here? So Dragon Slayer. This card has gotten a lot of hate because it's such a dragon hate card too. But yeah, how do you? I don't like the design of this card. Like I actually am on the side of like not liking how this was designed because it's just like, it just kills almost any dragon except for like something that costs probably 8 or above. And it's 4/3 too. It's like a stat. It's like something that I feel like it could easily be played in a lot of decks, and it's not, it's like a ton of value for nothing basically.
I think because it doesn't kill every dragon, it's a good design. It's kind of like Harrison Jones. Like if this would kill any Sarah,
this is way better than Crabs in my opinion.
I am not a huge fan. I don't like hate cards in general, so I don't like cards like Hungry Crab and Galaka. I think they're awful for the game. Because when a meta like stales out, it kind of forces you to play them if they're that powerful enough. So Dragon Slayer is interesting. I will say I don't think it's good design because it doesn't necessarily kill a dragon, but I think it's better than what Galaka Crawler and Hungry Crab do.
Yeah.
This comes down a little bit later than both of them, so it's a little better. But the issue is, I will say most dragons this is going to kill. Like it kills Operative, it kills the new 3/3. But I will agree with Gaara saying that it's not as bad because it doesn't automatically kill the dragon. So like if there's a Ysera, you need 2 of these instead of just playing 1, which is good. But I think it might see play as a tech card.
Yeah, I mean they wanted to make a dragon hate card, right? So they couldn't have it be the same because there's no giant pirate. There's no giant Murloc that people play. So that wasn't even the case. That wasn't even an issue in terms of the text that's on those other 2. But if they would have done it to this one, yeah, it would have been just insane. But this removes everything in the mid range though, like early and mids. I kind of look at it as the same. Like
I think they discussed a lot this particular card. Like, how would you design a dragon hate card that is not too overpowered? But
why do you even have to have a dragon hate card?
I don't think you have to have a dragon hate card.
That's the whole thing. It's like I don't like hate cards, period. And the dragon
I like
is just like crazy.
Cards.
Yeah, like. I don't like just play it and you all of a sudden just countered it like easily without doing anything skillfully. So,
I think it's worth discussing Dire Mole, the new hunter. I mean neutral card. Dire Mole is really good,
but it's big.
It's just like I guess there's not much to discuss with it. It's just a 1-mana 1/3. It's good. It's a beast. It's gonna be played in Hunter. Probably be played in Aggro Druid. It's just a good card.
It's a 1-mana 1/3 that makes an entire class playable.
I know. See, why didn't they call that? Like, why didn't they give that guy a cute name? He should have been like the Gibberer.
Well, Hunter was in a dire situation, so they needed a dire mole.
And they needed a mole too. Yeah, this is a 1-mana 1/3 beast, guys. Like, it's just like almost vanilla, but not quite. Yeah, the beast part of it, I guess, is gonna be a big part. And I
would like to say real quick, on most of these cards, I don't think are worth discussing. But the funniest thing, so most people look at Cursed Disciple and they probably think it's a pretty bad card, and I'm on that boat. But when I was doing a card review the other night, one of my friends looked at this card and we had a scale of 1 to 4 on what we rated the card, and everyone gave it a 4. I'm sorry, not a 4, a 1. Everyone gave it a 1. And then my one friend goes, I'm going to give it a 2. And I sat there, I was like, why would you ever rate this card a 2? And he goes, oh, because it can be played in Quest Druid, and it gives you 2 ticks on turn 4. And I sat there and I was like, is that actually viable? So, I mean, it's kind of cool to think about that something this simple and this what seems bad might have potential. I don't think it does, but
was definitely
kind of cool to think about.
Yeah, that was definitely on the designer's mind, right? Like, why would you make it a 5/1? I mean, that's just kind of a very specific thing there. So that's cool that your friend pointed that out. So you guys, what about Corridor Creeper? Like, you think it's too expensive? I mean, this is another case that this potentially could be free, right? So
I don't like it.
okay.
Also,
It's too
Cursed
slow.
Disciple, is it really so bad? Like in the tempo curve decks? Like if you get this from like Prince or something, like if it gets buffed, it's a 6/2 that gives you
Yeah,
5/1.
that's
I
true.
can imagine it's so annoying to deal with it, right? Because you always have to deal with the opponent's board. And as soon as he has a board, this on top of it, it's so hard to remove it, you know? I can imagine it
Yeah.
being like such a pain in the you
I mean, I
know?
could see you getting at
So I
least
don't think
5.
it's like that awful.
I could see you getting 5 damage to the face, like a large percentage of the time from that minion. Like, one of those
I
guys
think a
will
super
be able to
favorable
hit.
trade as well.
Yeah, and it's a good trade too. But even if you're just going tempo, I could see a pretty large percent of the time you getting 5 damage just from that minion. That's pretty good, right? I mean, if you're playing that type of
Yeah.
aggro tempo deck, then 5 damage is great. So, okay, well, let's move on to the next set. Then, if there's nothing else there, all right, this one. Okay, what we got here? We got the Danielson monk, the Kobold monk there. He's doing the crane. It's awesome.
Crane kick.
Exactly. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, these are a lot of these have. I think a lot of these are just moderately balanced, or I mean, just the power levels are pretty moderate. So
I like 2 of these cards.
summon a one at the end of your turn. So that's what, a 4/5.
I
Okay,
like
which ones? Which one, guys? Just
Gar
like name it. Yeah.
or Gargo. Yeah, what 2 does Gar like? It's probably the same 2 as mine.
Yeah.
I like Plated Beetle. I think this card is awesome. I think this is awesome for Control Warrior. Because first of all, Control Warrior doesn't have a good 2-drop. I think this is better than Armorsmith. And yeah, definitely. And this is also good for like Nizov Warrior because you get him back, and it has like a definite gain armor. It's very good for Nizov Warrior, I think, this card. And it's like a beast which you can get from Curator as well. Awesome card for sure. Also, it has like like if this new armor taunt druid would be a thing, this gives you like the free armor, which you can you'd activate like this some cards like the Lesser Jesper Spellstone and these like Ironwood. I don't know all these names, but there's like a bunch of cards that require free armor, and it's a beast which you can like buff with the Mark of Fisher Rush. So I like the more I thought about this card, the more decks came to my mind where you could play this in. Really awesome card.
Okay, yeah. Dr. J, what's the other? Where were the minions you liked?
Plated Beetle was okay. I wasn't that sold on it, but I could definitely see where Gar's coming from with that. Mostly, I loved Master Oakheart. I think this card has a lot of potential. And there's just gonna be some crazy stuff you're gonna be able to do with this card. I'm not quite sure what exactly it is yet, but I'm sure there's some things like there was one cute thing I thought of. I was like, oh, you just play Master Oakheart, you get Alakir, you get a Doppelgangster, and you get I don't know what the one attack minion is, but then you swing with the Alakir and then you evolve it all. And so it's like like really cute. And I also liked Fungal Enchanter because I thought Fungal Enchanter was just strictly better than Earthen Ring Farseer. But I'm not sure how playable Fungal Enchanter is. Other than that, those were just my 2 picks were Fungal Enchanter and Master Oakheart. All the other cards were kind of meh.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oakheart is sick.
Yeah, Oakheart. Yeah, it's
like
gonna
the
be
amount of deck building that goes like into this card is crazy. You can play this card in so many different decks. Like you can technically play it as a 9-drop in Murloc Paladin as well, just to get like a refill on the board. Like if you pull just Wicker Flame, War Leader, and like a Murloc,
so
like it's kind of on the board. It's like a big deal.
I have a question for you. So Master Oakheart, when it comes to like Linessa, Linessa's a 1/1, right? Before the battle cry happens. So okay, Linessa doesn't actually have a battle. So whenever you recruit it, you don't actually get any battle cries, right? It's just pure summon.
Yeah.
So it'd have to be like just the raw stats on it. Okay. Yeah.
Well, Linessa.
I know, like a crazy abuse it. Yeah, ridiculous, right? Okay, yeah, Master Oakheart sounds really cool. I'd have to really look through the just the collection.
So that's
to
actually
really find
crazy.
the abusive ones, yeah.
And like Armorsmith and whatnot.
Yeah. What if you could do something with Priest too? The Priests have all those like large health minions too. You can like do the Divine Inner the next turn, something crazy like that. But cool. All right, next up we've got all right, this is the third set of neutral cards. So anything here?
Scorpomatic's the first thing that comes to my head. I think Scorpomatic is a pretty good card. It can almost replace Crazed Alchemist in some decks. For the reason that it kills Doomsayer. Another cool thing about it is it works with Outdoor, so it makes like outdoor combos cheaper. That's kind of cute. Another cool thing about it is, let's say Aggro Druid becomes a force. It kills Crypt Lord. It kills the 2-mana 1/5 taunt as well. It kills spiders. There's a lot of things that this card secretly kills that people don't think about. So I think this card is pretty decent. Shimmering Courser is... I hope this card isn't good. I really hope it's not good. This card seems so annoying to deal with. Like, if you... like,
Really?
it just...
Okay.
Because imagine steeding this thing. It's like, how do you answer it? You just don't. It's really dumb. And then Shroom Brewers just seems like just a Earthen Ring with one more stat, which might be good. And Sleepy Dragon isn't too bad. Those are the 4 that I feel like are worth talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think any of the others here. Summon a 2/3 giant rat. End of your turn, summon a random 1-cost minion. Yeah, it's not. All of these are like moderately powered. You know, like some of them underpowered actually, but the Sleepy Dragon's always the one that people like. If you just get it like late games, you can just throw it down like from a Stonehill or something like that. Okay, yeah. Gar, you have anything to say about any of these? Like,
yes, I completely agree. I think Scorpomatic is the most interesting one. I think it's definitely better than Kodo in Control Party, just because it's so much faster. And I agree with the Unicorn. It's extremely annoying to deal with this. And it's kind of similar to Anti-Magic Shell from Lich King. If you're playing like a Control Mage or Priest, like, how do you kill it? And then your opponent can still target it. I don't even want to think about how annoying this is going to be. And I think Sleepy Dragon will mostly be played from Stonehill Defenders.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, actually, this card might be good enough, right? Because
it might be fine, like a Recruit Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah, Recruit Warrior.
Isn't this like the biggest taunt minion, like playable taunt minion that we have ever gotten?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Giant Mastodon was close.
Yeah, that's not right.
Close, but it was kind of like this one has a dragon tag. That is definitely relevant.
Yeah, it's definitely good. I mean, it's especially emergency against like some kind of aggressive deck for whatever reason. You just slap that down and it's gonna keep you safe for a while.
Yeah, pulling this from Isharaj.
Yeah,
was so good.
Yeah, Shimmering Courser might be one of the main reasons to play Silence in this expansion. Who knows? Just like a minion that silences, not the actual spell.
I hope it's not good. I hope it's not good.
Yeah. Okay, and lastly, we've got finally the card that I wanted to talk about, which is the Darkness, which is a 4-mana legendary 20/20 that has a text that says starts dormant, which we've never actually seen anything start dormant, right? And then Battlecry shuffle 3 candles into the enemy deck. When drawn, this awakens. So if you just draw one of them, right, it just awakens. For the rest of the game or just for that turn?
Wait, what do you mean? So I'm sorry, repeat the question.
So it's shuffled 3 candles into the enemy deck, right? When drawn, those candles, this awakens.
All of them.
All of them have to be drawn.
Oh, all of them have to be drawn. Okay, I was gonna say like one. Holy crap. Okay, so all 3 candles need to be drawn. Yeah, that was gonna be crazy.
No, ChanManV, what are you trying to do?
Okay, so with that card, can you just silence it? You can't, right? It has to be.
No, you can't get it from Vines.
Yeah, I was like,
you can't get
it's like
the
completely
4-mana recruit guy.
Yeah,
it's always dormant.
If you evolve into it, I think it just starts dormant and it's just stuck there on your board.
Yeah,
so you're gonna. I think you just evolve and then you just took up a board space.
Yeah. Well, you can taunt it. You can like argue it or something.
No, you can't. You can't.
Oh, it's
do
dormant.
Any of that.
Right.
Because it's like a Sherazin Corpse Flower.
Oh, it's not even targetable. Okay, got it. Okay.
It just sits there. It looks cool.
Okay, yeah, I missed that part of it. Like I didn't catch the reveal of this because I was out of town. So okay, gotcha. That's not quite as interesting then than what I was hoping it would be. Anything else here? Kind of. Violet Worm.
I think the Darkness mostly is just like a priest counter because it shuffles the 3 candles in, so they can't activate Raza, but the odds are that rarely ever happens. So I don't think the darkness is that good. People have talked about Void Ripper being very situational, and it could be, but I think Void Ripper is kind of bad. The one card I'm interested for that I think most people would say is bad, and I think has potential, is Wax Elemental. And the reason I say that is because I really want to try this in a Quest Rogue variant, for the reason that one of the things with Quest Rogue was survivability.
Oh, wow.
And you had an issue with that. So with Wax Elemental, you can play it and put it towards your quest. If it can't kill it, it just sits on the board and you put it back in your hand. And then when your quest done, it's a 5/5 with Divine Shield and Taunt.
Oh, geez.
And it's really cheap. So I think there might be potential there for something.
That's crazy.
I think you can play Wax Elemental in a lot of different decks, in my opinion. I think it even fits in Elemental Shaman. You only have Firefly as a good Elemental 1-drop. Now you can play Wax Elemental. It works perfectly with Flametongue Totem, Mana Tide.
Okay.
It protects those. I think you can play it also in Aggro Druid, because if you buff it, it's very good. It just protects your other stuff like Fledging, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's good in Aggro Paladin with Divine Shield synergy and hand buff Paladin, for instance, because you play the Rallying Blade. Yeah, buffing this and just protects your stuff is very good. There's like a lot of these niche situations. Also the Elemental tag. I think it's a pretty good card.
Cool. Yeah, that's.
And
Which
I was actually doing like a deck review earlier on stream, and then the Violet Worm. There's actually a very interesting, cool combo you can do. If you play Violet Worm in Big Priest, you get it with Shadow Essence, and then your opponent will not get it because you get like a full board of grubs. Then you can actually trade it and then use the Psychic card and give your opponent 7 1/1s in the deck. It's actually
that's really funny.
That's a show.
It's actually game-winning good.
Oh wow, that's cool. I didn't even think about that.
The only issue with that is when you well, I guess all the 1/1s are the same, so it really wouldn't affect Eternal Servitude.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Even if they died on your side. That's kind of cute.
Yeah. That's funny.
Like, you don't really think about it, but it's actually powerful.
No, that's actually really, really good. You just flood your opponents like that. That's crazy good.
And we also counter Kazaku's combo because he gets like 7 grubs. Right?
Yeah.
It's like even better than Darkness.
Right.
It makes Big Priest that much more favorite.
I know. Wow. That's what we need, right? Crazy. Yeah, Void Ripper, I feel like is an anti-shaman thing, man. It's like whatever shaman could build, with all these totems or whatever to get, just hold totems or whatever. Man, that one card just destroys all of it. It's kind of crazy.
And it's the 4th neutral demon.
Is it? Oh yeah. Okay. 4th neutral demon.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. So that's actually it for all the cards. I mean, I think we made some good time, but figured we would pick our favorite 5 cards from the set. And just kind of talk about, just kind of look at the set overall and what we think. And these are just our favorite cards. This doesn't mean like, oh, this is the most powerful cards that we think they're going to be. So we kind of these are the ones I picked. To be honest, like some of them you guys picked already, so I chose some other ones just to be different, so we could talk about more cards. But yeah, why don't you guys, Gaara, you want to start with yours?
Okay. First, I wanted to pick some minions, but then I changed my mind to spells because I really hate that. Like, there's an overall trend of just power spike upgrades with very expansions for minions, and spells are relatively getting weaker and weaker, especially like the basic cards that we have that we still play in most decks. Like, we still play Frostbolts and Firebolts, but the minions are getting more and more powerful. So I really like, as soon as they print like new, more powerful board clears, like we have in this expansion, like this Psychic Scream is like the best board clear ever printed. But I don't actually mind having this in the game. I really want to have more powerful spells just overall. I don't care like which ones. Okay. But I want them to be balanced across the classes, not just give Druid Ultimate Infestation and not give the other classes good spells. I really like powerful spells. I like it.
Yeah, but you don't want to give every class the same spell, right? Like
no, just good spells.
Yeah, but okay, just like not every class having Psychic Scream.
No, of course. Like Meteor, Psychic Scream. It could be Ultimate Infestation, but the other class, like Paladin, should not rely on playing Lay on Hands when Druid gets Ultimate Infestation.
Yeah,
it's like there's no
no
balance there.
Totally get it. Well, so we talked about 2 of these cards already today. You know, Flanking Strike and obviously Murmur Elemental. But yeah, maybe talk about Reckless Flurry. I mean, that's another removal spell, right? That's like kind of what you're talking about.
That's
Super
awesome,
powerful, crazy awesome. And then Explosive Runes, which you touched on earlier too. That card's just great. I mean, you always get full value from that card, no matter what you do.
And you can play it in any mage deck actually, as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like control mage, secret mage, you know, you name it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, good stuff. Dr. J, you have a bunch of cards that we didn't talk about. At least Flanking Strike, you had the same as Gaara there. But everything else was cards that we talked about in previous weeks. So maybe touch on some of those.
So I picked mostly the cards I'm most excited for and the cards that I think are super powerful. I'm going to go from the bottom top. Grumble World Shaker, I like it a lot. I don't know how good it is, just for the reason that Shaman might be in a bad state after this patch or expansion. But the one thing I do like about Grumble is that it gives potential for things that can just be ludicrous. Like, let's say you have a Blaze Caller on the board and you bounce the Blaze Caller back, and then you go Murmuring Elemental Blaze Caller. Like, that's just 10 damage. Like, that's just ludicrous. That's insane. I like Kobold Librarian because I think it was the best Warlock card they printed in the set. I think Kobold Librarian is just insane.
It's the best one drop, isn't it? Like,
I think it's the best. Yeah. Like, I think it's just cards, just like one of the best cards ever printed. Like, I'm that confident saying that. I think it's insane. I think Flanking Strike's really good. I was excited for it with Hunter. I think Hunter needed something like this, and I think it was really good. Tree of the World Tree, I'm excited for because I want to build decks around it, and I think it's a really cool card. And then Faldori Strider. I am just so sold on this card, and I think it is the best card of the set. I think it's the best card of the set. I think this card's insane.
It's like every single rogue is going to play this card.
Every rogue will play this card.
No matter what. Yeah.
I think for the whole new year. Like, any card's just that insane.
Gaara, what's your take on Faldori? We kind of disagreed last episode. I was saying the same thing last episode, but
like you can play it in Mill Rogue, in Tempo Rogue,
it's like
in Miracle Rogue.
He's playing in Rogue.
You can play it like in totally different archetypes of rogues. That's how strong this card is.
They should have statted it lower. Like it's just too easy to play at 4/4. It's a 4-mana 4/4 is not that bad, right? And
what was the name of the bad version of it that gives you
Beneath the
opponent
Grounds?
Beneath the Grounds.
Yeah, Beneath the Grounds. Compared to Beneath the Grounds.
And that card saw play.
It's that 1 mana, dude. That 1 extra mana gives you a 4/4. It's amazing.
And
it's a little different, but yeah.
And you can draw them like faster. Like you can.
Yeah, you can dictate when you draw them.
Yeah, it's
so much better.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. It's an outright great card that there's just no reason why you wouldn't play. It's just too good not to play. That's how good it is. Yeah, that one would have definitely been on my list. Now, my list is mostly cards a combination of cards that I'm just looking forward to playing and cards that I think were cool designs. So, Temporis, I think, is a card that's completely out there for Blizzard to actually release. You know, just having the ability for your opponent to go twice and you just going twice. Like we've only had Time Warp do that, right? So 2 releases in a row, we introduced this kind of going twice in a row, and I think that the number of combos you can do going twice in a row is crazy, and then the counterplay for it is going to be super interesting too. You know, like how do people, you know, prevent this kind of combo from happening? You know, and what do they do, or how do they set up their own 2-card combo, right? Like, or 2-turn combo type of thing. So I think it's going to be really, really cool to see how, you know, you guys figure it out. Dragon Soul,
I think this will actually also see a lot of play constructed just from Netherspite historians. Like when you think you can afford to play a Temporis when you are ahead on the board.
Okay.
And you also have, like, because it's a priest card, you have a higher chance to get him as well. And then you just, you know, when you are ahead on board, you think I can survive 2 of my opponent's turns. Then you play him, and then crazy things are gonna happen. I think someone is gonna win the game.
Yeah, I mean
I
wouldn't play Temporis. Yeah, I wouldn't play Temporis unless I knew I could, you know, like Divine Spirit inner fire that, right, and just win the game, like that sort of thing. So like, or at least I have a minion that I can do those 2 things to, and then just win the game type of scenario. So how people deal with that? Like, do they hold a taunt on? You know, like what do they do to counter that potential combo. You know, this could be a really oppressive card in some ways too. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. But I do like the fact that they were brave enough to throw something out like this into the ecosystem. That's really, really cool. Dragon Soul. This isn't like as crazy of a card or anything. There's just something about it I just like. Just the fact that I can, you know, maybe think about like a Lyra type of build, you know, and that sort of priest, and then get value from it just by throwing in Dragon Soul. You know, like you can actually get 5/5s from just doing what you would normally do. It's kind of interesting to me. Sonya, I think, is another card that's kind of cool. I don't know if it's going to be powerful, but I think it's just neat that you can, you know, dictate when you get those 1/1s, which ones you can get on your turn, not just on your opponent's turn. So I think that can play for a lot of great Battlecry type of minions too for rogues. They have good Battlecry minions, right? So Twilight Acolyte we talked about, insanely broken good. Like I can't believe they even gave Priest this card. It's that good.
On top of that,
I mean, it's like Vol'jin and like Aldor together. I mean, it's just like what? Like this is like crazy. Like and then Unstable Evolution. I just think it's a better implementation of Evolve. Like I like how they did that. In fact, I kind of wish they would have originally done it this way instead of evolve the whole board. You know, like one. You know, have them pay for it. You know, like if you didn't like what you got, you have to pay another mana, and just, you know, you can keep doing that if you want. So I definitely liked the correction, even though the other evolve's going to be there for a long time. So yeah, overall, you guys happy with what you guys see?
Very.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, me too. I started off kind of disappointed, to be honest, and then I'm like, just as more and more cards came out, I was like, yeah, this is great. You know, given that they didn't really do anything enormous like DKs or quests or things like that, I think they did an awesome job with just individual cards. Gaara, you?
Yeah, but we still got some new card archetypes like Secrets for Rogue for the first time, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Legendary weapons for the first time. It's pretty exciting, and I'm really looking forward to the next year's rotation, because the free expansions that stay in the game look pretty good compared to the ones that are rotating out.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have Ungoro, Knights of the Frozen Throne, this one, and then the next one we get in April. So I'm really looking forward to the next year's circuit for HCT.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to be the trend, because last year I think they started by releasing some powerful cards, right, in this last expansion and before the reset. And then I feel like they stepped it up another level with this one, where they went crazy with power creep and just straight up power, and knowing that the reset will be the next expansion, and we always have like a new freshness to that when that happens. So, you know, I think they're strategizing these releases a lot better now, and it's really awesome for the game. All right, well, just real quick, you know, given that we had spent like an hour and a half on that, just want to thank the patrons for supporting the show. You guys are the main reason why we're able to do this show. So I want to give thanks to some of those. If you are interested in supporting the show, go to patreon.com/valuetown and make a pledge. We'd really appreciate anything you can afford to pledge would be amazing. But big shout out to our legendary producers, Mike T and Romy S, and other patrons, David T, Bryce L, Engine S, Grant A, Louise L, Vince F, Alex F, Bruce W, Michael O, and Jim G. You guys are amazing, awesome, all that good stuff, and really, really appreciate you guys. Let's see. Next up, we had so host challenge. Host challenge is this thing that we had them like try to guess what cards that were going to come out, and Zam actually had a good one. That was Guildsmith, 2 mana, 2/3 Battlecry. Give your weapon immune during your opponent's turn. Because I guess they were anticipating Ooze just being like a big thing. But yeah, that would have been pretty cool if they would have come out with something like that. That was definitely a good guess by Zam. See, we had a question here, Q&A from Ahmed N. What's your favorite card design wise? Favorite card design wise, and what's your least favorite? Mine is Call to Arms, Paladin 4 mana recruit spell, as it behaves differently in different deck types. My least favorite is Rune Spear, Shaman weapon, which I am mad that they didn't make it cast from your deck to make you have control over it. Okay. Yeah, so I think is he talking about just this expansion? Or is this overall Rune Spear? Is that, I forget. Is that's this expansion?
That's this expansion.
Yeah, that's definitely
this
this
Shaman
expansion.
weapon. So I would assume
yeah.
expansion.
Yeah, so what's your least favorite design? What's your favorite design? Yeah.
My least favorite design is probably something like Dragon Slayer. I know we mentioned it earlier. I just don't like those specific hate cards.
Yeah, me too.
But my favorite design, it's really hard to say. I like the Spellstones. I like how they designed. I like that they buff when you're in your hand.
Yeah.
They have crazy effects if you can buff them. I like that.
Okay. Gaara, what about you?
My least favorite is definitely Dragon Fury. I was really looking forward to a new mage bot clear, and having this RNG effect for a bot clear is so bad. I think it's a really bad design. I think.
Yeah.
Because you play it in a control deck and you want to have control over the cards you're playing. And the best design card is the 1-drop for Hunter, the 1/3 beast.
What? Really?
It's so simple.
Really?
And
It's
such a
so
big thing.
simple, and it's cute, and it's
Oh
good.
my god, seriously? Okay.
Simple and effective.
Yeah, okay, I give you that. Like, if you're talking about one card and just like the one that you think was best designed, just with the least amount that
Probably
it
costed
did
like
to it.
$5 to make
Yeah.
and makes a class viable.
Okay, so I would say there was another card I was thinking of. I can't remember what it was last because I remember last episode I said that I just don't like how this card was designed at all. But I can't remember. I think my favorite design is probably, I don't know if I had to pick. There's definitely a few of them, but I would say maybe like maybe something like Deck of Wonder. I think Jackie kind of convinced me last week. Deck of Wonder and just how fun that kind of, because it has that kind of Faldori aspect to it, but it's different because it's spells, right? So then you kind of have this like Yogg feel to it all of a sudden, or like you can have this kind of Yogg-ish type of mage even without Yogg, and it's I don't know, it's kind of cool. And then I think the worst one was like I think Togwaggle did not turn out the way that.
What?
You think that's gonna be a cool card? Like that's gonna be
I think
fun?
it's fun. I think I'm gonna
But it doesn't do
Togwaggle
anything.
and then
And
explore on Guru and then Skulking Geist their deck.
Oh shit! yeah. That's wow. Okay, that could be interesting. Yeah. Wow. Okay, I didn't think about.
It's
Skulking
fun.
Geist.
It's not good, but it's fun.
Yeah. Okay. I guess. I mean, I thought they could have done it better. Like, I think the idea of having it like in your opponents, like the ransom cards shuffled into their deck, is like a little bit cooler. So they can't control. When it changes back instantly. Right now it's just like, okay, you have to pay 5 mana and then you switch back, right? But I think I would have liked the fact that you'd have to play with each other's deck for longer. That would have been freaking amazingly awesome.
I think my favorite design is the 9-mana card that recruits a 1, 2, and 3 attack minion.
Oh,
Because
okay.
there's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many different decks you can do with this card.
Yeah, that's true.
It's really fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it, guys. Gonna wrap up. I think we made awesome time in terms of like getting through these cards. And thanks so much, guys, for hanging out. And one thing that we didn't talk about, you guys looking forward to the dungeon run, like, and trying to complete that. I know you guys are gonna work on decks immediately, but I guess we should probably just talk a little bit about that because.
I wish there would be some sort of reward, man. Just a small reward, like
I know
card
what you mean.
packs or like some gold or whatever, like similar to Arena. I think this would really increase the fun aspect of the dungeon runs. I think very fast you would think like, why am I doing this? I think just some small reward would be so much more appealing.
I almost feel like it should have been just like a game mode and not like an adventure mode type of thing. It should have just been an outright new game mode, so it would be natural, right? It'd be like Arena. It just rewards you for doing well and stuff like that. Yeah, I think so too. But at least the first month of it, I think will be super exciting and fun. But then after that, I hope it can maintain it. So hopefully, maybe they continue to enhance it, and it just
That's probably
continues
their
on.
plan.
Yeah, I hope they do that, because if they do that, then that'll be a way to basically make a new game mode just with no rewards, which will kind of suck a little bit. All right, well, if you guys listening to the show have any questions, go ahead and email those to valuetown@chanmanv.tv, and you can do that. We're actually found on all the audio channels too, so probably a lot of you guys are listening on iTunes as well as Google Play and SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/chanmanv. Big shout out to BP for leaving us the last 5-star review on iTunes. Really appreciate that. Helps people find Value Town when they're looking for Hearthstone podcasts. But Dr. J, you want to do some shout outs before you take off?
It's just been great. I'm really excited for this new set. Thank you for having me on the show as always. I really appreciate doing all of this. Shout outs to my new organization at Space Station GG, Space Station Gaming. A great bunch of people. I'm really looking forward to the new competitive year with them.
Who's on this team right now? Is Ant on?
Yeah, Ant and I are
Ant
and I are the two members right now. Awesome. They're looking into a third. Can't really say much about that, but looking into a third for the competitive season. And then you can find me Twitter and Twitch, DrJikininki, DrJikininki. I think that's about it.
All right, Gaara, how about you, man?
Shout outs to the Gaara Boys Fam Squad Nation. I know some of them are watching.
Awesome.
Shout outs to you guys. Thanks for having me on the show. It's always so much fun. I really enjoy talking about Hearthstone, oftentimes like more than playing. And
that's perfect.
I'm really super excited about tomorrow. I'm gonna stream for like 10 hours. I don't know.
Yeah, man, I'm at the catch. You had some great ideas, man. I think that that one worm one was amazing, dude. I'm gonna have to try that one, like literally on the first day. That's gonna be
it's awesome.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. Yeah, totally. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching, guys. Jackie and Ali, I think we'll be back next week. We'll see. Like their schedule is just so crazy right now, so it's hard to say. I think they might be at Seed Story actually. So
they're in Australia, aren't they?
Right
or
now,
also
but I think they might be.
Story,
they might be. Yeah, I think they are flying because FTK has a team over there, right? So, so we probably won't have Ali and Jackie here either next week. So we'll probably get another set of guests, and we'll talk about new decks. That's going to be super exciting to see what people come up with. But that's going to be it for this week, guys. So for DrJikininki and Gaara and myself, ChanManV, we'll see you next week, guys. Later.
See ya.